Welcome back to chapter 23 of The Girl Who Speaks Bear, written by Sophie Anderson, illustrated by Katrin Henester, and read with permission from Usborne Publishers. Chapter 23, The Herd. As Mousetrap finishes the story, Elena sweeps through the door, pulling her shawl tight around her chest. Sasha is doing much better. His soul is back in his body and he is breathing. Relief floods through me, until Elena continues, but he's unconscious, his breathing weak, and there are mottles of frostbite all over him. Frostbite? People lose fingers and toes, even whole hands and feet, to frostbite every year. If that happened to Sasha because of me, I'd never forgive myself. I rise to my feet, wanting to do something to help, but there's nothing I can do. You should probably stay sitting, Elena says as the house creaks and shifts beneath us. We're going to move closer to the village. Not so close anyone sees us, of course, but close enough for my mother to sledge Sasha to Yulmamochka. Anatoly left his sledge here as well as his dogs, and we can make Sasha comfortable for a short journey. My mother says Yulmamochka is a far better healer than her, and the best place for Sasha to wake is at home, with his family, not in a Yaga house surrounded by us scary witches. Elena laughs, but it's a hollow sound that doesn't hide her concern. Sasha might be doing much better than dead, but clearly he's still in grave danger. The house lurches upwards and Mousetrap leaps out of the window onto my back. The human boy doesn't look good at all, he squeaks into my ear. So the Yaga woman is going to take him to Mamochka. The house turns as it rises and I glimpse Ivan stepping out from the shadows. He stares at me with golden eyes and my head fills with thoughts of fire dragons and curses, enchanted trees and wishes. An idea sparks into my mind like pine crackling on a fire. Stop! I stumble along the porch towards the steps, though they're high above the forest already. What's wrong? Elena and Mousetrap ask at the same time. I can't go back to the village, I shout. Why not? Mousetrap leans over my face. There's no time to explain. Please, just let me down. I look up at the roof with a sigh with relief when the house swings back to the ground and I'm able to step onto the riverbank. Yuri slips and slides along and off the porch and lands in a heap beside me. You're not leaving me again, he says firmly. We're a herd, remember? I look into Yuri's big brown eyes and finally understand what being part of a herd means to him. It's like what family means to me. Realising Mamochka and Sasha are my family has given me a home and a place to belong, and that's what Yuri is looking for too. You're not coming with us? Elena looks from me to Mousetrap to Yuri. I shake my head and back away, wishing I could explain. It's all right, Elena nods. I think I understand. There's not much you could do in the village to help. She taps the balustrades. I know. We'll drop off my mother and Sasha, then come back to find you. What do you think, house? The whole house nods before surging back up. Blackiston swoops down from the chimney and lands on a branch behind us. Elena waves as the house turns, picks up speed and disappears into the night. I stare after it, hoping with every breath that next time I see Sasha, he won't be a ghost. Are you going to tell me what's going on now? Mousetrap nips my ear and I flinch. Will you stop biting my ears? I growl. I wish the dog would stop barking. That wasn't a bite, Mousetrap snorts. It was a gentle nibble to get your attention. Wolf! Yuri suddenly screams, scrambling backwards. It's all right. I step between Yuri and Ivan, who is walking towards us, his fangs flashing in a wide grin. This is Ivan. He won't hurt you. I glare at Ivan, hoping to make it clear that I won't let him attack Yuri. I roll my shoulders to make myself look bigger, but on all fours, I'm not much taller than Ivan. But he's a wolf! Yuri squeals. A wolf! He's part of our herd, I say, hoping the word will calm him. Me, you, Mousetrap, Blackiston and Ivan. We're a herd now. Yuri looks around at us all and lifts his head high. We're a herd? He repeats hopefully. Ivan's eyes flash in the darkness as he nods. I'll join your herd to help you fight Smay. Fight Smay? Mousetrap runs down my snout and turns to stare at me. Smay the fire dragon? I shift my weight on my paws, suddenly unsure of my idea. It made more sense when I was on the house's porch. Maybe not fight him. I just need to get past him. Ivan says Smay guards the lime tree. It can grant wishes, so if I can get it to... She can wish to be human again, Ivan interrupts, shaking his fur impatiently. Can we go now? It's a long journey to the fiery volcano. Fighting a fire dragon will be difficult and dangerous, even for someone with hunting skills as exceptional as my own. Mousetrap inspects his claws in a shaft of moonlight. Are you sure you want to do this? You're still human in there, despite your current appearance. I have a more important wish than wanting to be human. I look back in the direction the house walked, thinking about Sasha. I need him to recover. He's my family, my herd, my home. I failed him at the Silver Stream, and now I need to make things right. I'm going to wish that Sasha makes a full recovery. You can wish whatever you like, as long as we defeat Smay. Ivan walks a few paces north, then glances back at us. Come on, herd, he growls. The night is wasting. I bound after Ivan, worries churning inside me for Sasha and for the others too. All I know about fighting fire dragons is that it's dangerous, and I don't want anyone else to get hurt. Where's your old herd? I ask Yuri, wondering if I could get him safely back to them before he reached Smay. They don't want me anymore, Yuri grumbles. The young males always get kicked out before the spring mating season. Where did the other young males go? Some wander alone, some form small groups among themselves. Perhaps we could find one of those groups for you to join. But you're my herd now, Yuri says proudly. You said so yourself. We are, I groan. I just don't want you to get hurt fighting a fire dragon because of me. Herds stick together, especially during times of danger. Yuri skids on a muddy patch. You'll need me. The prey animal is right, Ivan growls. All the members of a pack can be useful. But Yuri is just a young elk, my brow furrows with concern, and Mousetrap a tiny house weasel. With exceptional hunting skills? Mousetrap squeaks into my ear. You're strong and brave and brilliant, but I don't know what you can do to help fight a fire dragon, Mousetrap. I shake my head. I don't even know what I'm going to do. Many years ago, I was asked to fight with an unusual pack. Ivan slows his pace until he's walking alongside me and Yuri. I was doubtful of the others' strengths, especially the crayfish, but together we defeated the giant Deathless. We've heard this story, Mousetrap trills. Do you remember, human girl? Anatoly told it to us 15 seasons ago. I smile at Mousetrap, still calling me human girl, despite the fact I've completely turned into a bear. Then I try to remember the stories I've heard about the Great Deathless. They're some of Anatoly's most fantastical tales, and although I've enjoyed them, I've never truly believed in an evil immortal giant rampaging through the snow forest. Would you like to hear the story again? Ivan asks. Yeah, please, I nod. A flush of warmth runs beneath my fur, because whether this story is true or not, and whatever happens next, this moment feels suddenly special. Ivan, Yuri, Mousetrap and Blackiston all want to stay and help me, and it makes me feel part of something, like I belong. Walking side by side with Yuri and Ivan, Mousetrap curled around my ear, and Blackiston flying above, with the river burbling and the leaves whispering, I feel part of Yuri's herd, and Ivan's pack, and even part of the magic of the forest itself. Alright. Ivan clears his throat with a growling bark. Then he begins with, Once upon a time. The giant Deathless. Once upon a time, the giant Deathless came to the snow forest. He was taller than the trees, harder than the rocks, and as heartless as a midwinter frost. His breath was so rancid that the birds fell from the sky, and he picked and ate wolves like cherries, gobbling them up and spitting out their skulls like pips. He snapped the angelic birches to use as toothpicks, and he drank from the river until the waters were so low that the fish floundered and crayfish crawled away to the ocean. One of the humans who lived in the forest, a great warrior called Nastasia, felt her heart ache to see the snow forest plundered, so she vowed to get rid of the giant. First she went to the Yaga in the deepest part of the darkest forest to ask her advice. "The giant Deathless hid his soul," said the Yaga, "so he could live forever. But without his soul he can't understand the feelings of others, so he's become selfish and cruel. He'll not find peace until he reunites with his soul and moves on to the stars. But his soul is trapped inside an egg, that's inside a duck, who is inside a hare, locked in an iron chest and buried deep under the great oak on the Isle of Bayan. And that can only be reached by sailing off the end of the world and through the North Star." Nastasia then knew that she had to free the giant's soul. She needed help. She asked the bear Tsarina, the strongest creature in the forest, to join her, and she asked the grey wolf who could run the fastest, and the golden eagle who could fly the highest, and the thick-clawed crayfish who could dive the deepest. On the shores of the Green Bay they met a fisherman willing to help, and they sailed in his ship off the end of the world, through the North Star and to the Isle of Bayan. There, with her immense strength, the bear Tsarina pulled up the great oak and lifted the iron chest from deep underground. She broke the lock and outran the hare as fast as the wind. But the grey wolf ran faster and bit the hare in two. Out flew the duck, up into the clouds, but the golden eagle flew higher and caught the duck in her talons. Out dropped the egg, and it fell deep into the ocean, but the crayfish dived after it and brought the egg up in his thick claws. The fishermen sailed them home, and Nastasia tied the egg to an arrow. As soon as the giant Deathless was in sight, she lifted her bow, pulled back the string, aimed and fired. The arrow flew straight and true, and the egg smashed into the giant's forehead. His soul poured into his eyes, and he collapsed to his knees, overwhelmed with the feelings it brought him. In the darkest part of the forest, the Yaga and her house heard the giant Deathless fall, and the house ran to him. The Yaga stepped out and took the giant by the hand. She gave him food and drink and listened to his stories and danced him all the way to the stars. And there the giant found peace, and he never bothered the creatures of the snow forest again.